Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sun Up on 7. It's time for a fresh conversation here. He's just recently elected as Belize City Deputy Mayor. Micah Goodin joins us here on Sun Up on 7 to get to know what's the feeling like. You know, you're just recently elected, so we want to know how you're feeling. And of course, what are your plans for Belize City? Before we get into that, Micah, I just want to do a quick check-in. How are you feeling today?
Feeling happy.
Yeah?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me today. I believe the last time I was here, it was in the middle of a garbage crisis. And so it feels good to be here in better circumstances.
There we
I think
go.
so too as well. A more positive, lighter conversation.
Yeah, certainly.
Definitely. I mean, one thing people can say is, of course, congratulations. You've done extremely hard work. You've been very dedicated to your post as councillor, and to see, of course, rightfully so that you should be the deputy mayor. And so, what do you think is maybe one of your first stances, your first portfolio push or whatever it is that you want to do? Because now you just reach into the post, but I'm sure for a long time you have your dreams, your aspirations of what you think can be done to improve the Belize City Council. So for you, what do you think is going to be some of the first steps you take?
The first thing I'm going to do this morning is enter my office.
Well, I hope so.
But in addition to that, what I really want to see happen is a strategic session of the mayor and the councillors so that we can look at the manifesto and look at how it is that we can achieve some of these promises that we made, because I think that this year is a pivotal year, and so we have to be very committed. Our efforts have to almost be Herculean in a sense so that we can get a large portion of our manifesto promise delivered. And so for me, that strategic session is where we'll brainstorm together and look at the different and the most important or the priority areas per se.
And so when you're looking at priority areas, we need funds to support priority areas. And we know, of course, from, recent conversations, situations, it's been very hard to generate some income. I know now we're opening up our economy a lot more. Mask gone, like a lot of things could happen as compared to before. But how do you think we can be able to generate income too as well? Like in your mind, off the top of your head, a way to generate some income without pushing and kind of chancing the Belizean population too as well to get that money?
Well, off the bat, I think that we, as a council, enjoy the support of the central government and of the Prime Minister of Belize, and I think that sort of relationship will help to ease whatever burdens our people might face, and so we have to rely heavily on them. It's just the reality at this time for us.
Get that support from them.
Yeah. And it's not what's it called, the park meter that they're gonna be using for funds. I'm just gonna throw that joke out there. But yeah, Micah, so the position is for a year, right?
Yeah.
So you definitely have to hit the ground running, because a year goes by pretty quick.
Yep.
So you're saying a consultation and strategizing is one of the important things that you want to do. Right? Is there other things that you have in mind that you want to get accomplished in this year?
I know the expectations are high, but the reality is that I have a time constraint, and so we have to be realistic. For me, ideally, I would want to see us continue with social programs. I think that is essential given the economic hardships that our people face. But I also believe that we have to start to look at infrastructure. I think that there is much left to be desired by our city residents. And so we, as a council, we have to pay keen attention and have to do our part to improve our city. We don't want our city to fall in a state of decay or disrepair before we do anything. Councillor for Works, Alan Pollard, has been instrumental. He has started this initiative where every month he is repairing a street, but we want to be more aggressive than that. We want to do more so that at the end of this term, we can look back and say that we've accomplished a great deal in terms of the upkeep of our city. And so that is a key area for us this year.
Most definitely. I want to ask in regards to your relationship with the mayor, because I know there was that little hoax because of supporting, and you get kind of pulled from a WhatsApp group and get back in a WhatsApp group now?
Certainly.
I have to double check, because you have to be able to talk.
Yeah.
But what do you think will be the relationship? How have you guys tried to come and strengthen the relationship, knowing that you are the deputy mayor now? That on a coast ballet, have to play marble on the boulevard the way it's set up right now?
Yeah. It is no secret that the relationship has been a roller coaster and almost turbulent in nature. But on Friday we met and we had a very frank and candid discussion about what he expects from me and what I expect from him. And the idea or the from what I gathered is that we've both pledged to work together to remove any sort of ego that may exist and really focus on the people of Belize City because without them or if we're not doing it for them, then it does not make any sense. And so that is what we've both pledged to do. And so the communication is open. All communication lines have been restored.
You're not black no more.
No, and so we're moving forward in a very positive note because if we can make this work, right, he can get closer to his aspirations, I can get closer to my aspirations, and that's going to be a beautiful thing for us as a PUP family.
Most definitely.
Definitely. And I like that the relationship has mended and you're both coming together for the bigger purpose of the work that you're doing. Because I realize one thing is that there needs to be at some point contradictions or some disagreements because that's how consultations and that's how things happen, right? And even like in every household, in every business, such things do occur.
Yeah.
However, going back now, you're saying, okay, we've mended relationships and we're moving forward, going with what's.
But I'm not going to say that we're not going to clash at times,
I just want to say that.
Dissent is healthy, dissent is a healthy
opposition
component.
is healthy. You need that to be able to challenge.
But it is the maturity and the professionalism and the way we express and we respond to that dissent it's going to be exactly. So that is something that we're both committed to.
And of course, it's a working relationship. You have to understand that not everybody will be chummy ballet all the time.
Yeah.
People have to expect that these things happen. It's not even in families these things happen, and that because people are blood.
Yeah.
So of course we can see that you're trying to mend properly and make a fruitful, harmonious relationship moving forward for the better of the country and the council, of course.
Exactly.
And so in that same idea where Kevin's talking about, consultation, being able to understand what's happening, a lot of people have been talking about the parking meter initiative that's happening right now. What are your thoughts on it when people are talking about why I have to pay for parking in my own country and we're trying to challenge and put things from other states or other place? Because there have been comments like that, and I'm sure you've heard it a couple times too as well, because you know how Belizeans, they're very raw in that. But could you indicate to us, for you, from your stance, why do you think it's necessary to have the parking meter program?
I think to answer this question, you have to first go back to our vision statement and our mission statement, which really talks about Belize City becoming a smart, inclusive, and modern city. I think with any modern city, we have to have order. There has to be law and order. And I think this is a step in the right direction. For too long, our motorists have complained about the lack of spaces for parking, and so it is in hearing their concerns that we've really tried to address it. I know that it's going to be new, and for some people, they prefer to hold on to the old way of doing things, but we have to change, we have to evolve, we have to make our city a modern city. And so this is a part of that, and I support the initiative completely.
Most definitely. I mean, we want to be developed country status area,
Yes.
but we don't want to get into the developed but we don't want to develop country stuff because they have that. They have the smart buses. They have all these different things. So we do have to get with the program in that sense. What would you say in regards to people out there that are trying hard still to wrap their head around the initiative? Is there any advice for them? Because there is been, I remember we had the councillors last week on the couch, and there were some comments, people saying, that I don't think this is a smart initiative. I feel like they're just trying to scam us. I tell them, I know they said this on me. I just said this on what viewers they say, and that's why I'm just trying to give you the feedback. So what can you say again to just help them sway into that, regardless of just moving on to trying to get to a smart city and all these things, but what is the importance to as well that, they do need to be charged $1, $1.50, for half an hour, whatever it is?
I just want to assure them that this is still in the pilot stage, and so we have to look at the nicks and the knacks and see areas that we may need to improve. So it's just a test run. I'd like for them to give it a chance, and let's see how it works.
Very true. Open mind.
Yeah, very smart. That's the best response.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
Belizeans will always, we know we love the people, but they will always have something to say, good, bad, whatever
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Just
just a
finding
matter
a
of
bit
also getting used to it, of course.
That is
Yeah.
true. That
Yes.
is true.
Yeah.
But so, Micah, now you're in. We know you to start with your strategizing. You to start rebuild relationships. You're starting all these different things together now, right? What do you think would be one of the biggest challenges you think you're going to be facing now with this new post, and how do you think you're going to be overcoming that challenge?
Honestly, I feel that the issues that we face at the council are structural issues. I believe that we have to start with the City Council Act. I believe that it's outdated, it's antiquated, its language is archaic, it has failed to meet up with modern times, and so I think for me that's going to be one of the greatest challenges. If it were in my power, if I had the ability, in the stroke of a pen, I would throw it away and replace it quickly.
I don't like it that much.
I see so many areas where it is too lax, so many areas that it fails to address. For example, we have councillors collecting almost a bachelor degree stipend, but in the past, I'm not saying this set of councillors or this council, these councillors have done no work for that sort of salary. They have really done nothing in their respective portfolios, and so I'd want to see how we could get councillors to be more committed and more hands-on and more responsible, so for me, I see it as being structural. In addition to that, I look at so many areas in the council act where the council really has no teeth. We talk so much about building requirements and building codes, and so many of these buildings go up in clear violation of the Council Act, and so I see that as another area where we need strengthening. And so for me, I see the Council Act as being a bit behind in terms of development, and so for me I think that's going to be the greatest challenge. And the reason it's more so going to be a challenge is because when you try to change or amend these things, it takes a process. I might start the amendment now and it might not come to fruition until another term, and so for me that is it. No, it's more structural.
Yes. But is that something that you can see working on while you're in the term?
I can start the process, but
Is if he's going to be able to finish it, because those things take
Of course.
time
Yeah.
to review.
Yeah.
And
But the simple fact is that you've acknowledged and you've noticed that this is like quite a big challenge, not just for you, but in the council in general. I mean, and you're in the position right now to make some changes, make some moves. I can definitely see that's something that should definitely get started.
yeah.
It paves the way for you, but also paves the way for other people that are going to be coming within the council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. The City Council Act is really our Bible. It is almost the heart of our council, and so I think if we fail to really address the issues or the shortfalls of it, then we really fail, in a sense, to properly execute the business of the city. I'd also want to see us as a council be more business friendly. I think that the City Council Act is really cold in terms of businesses. It allows for consideration on the whims of perhaps the trade license board, and so if you're not a good UDP or a good PUP, you really get no consideration. I'd want to see us become more business friendly, especially for new businesses and even existing businesses, because business is hard. Being an entrepreneur is hard in this city, and so I think all the support and all the help that they can get would be helpful.
definitely, I remember just a while back, I saw you guys doing this pop-up shop too as well. I would really want to see more initiatives like that allow the Belizeans, the small businesses, the micro business to get that exposure, that they can have a place that they can set up. Because a lot of times people are working from their house and they rely on social media. But if they're centered there at the Battlefield Park or whatever it is, they're able to get that, first hand-to-hand touch where people can see what they're doing. So I'm hoping for more things like that to allow the exposure, to allow Belizeans to develop.
Certainly, I think we're going to continue doing more of that. We're also going to bring back our super sale, which was a big initiative and really had entrepreneurs come out and display their work and their services. And I think we're also going to look at the night market. We've seen that Belmopan has moved ahead with the idea, and so we're hoping to be the next municipality to join the trend.
I mean, curfew, no more, so might as well come out in the night and have at least some time fun, you know? I love it. And again, congratulations, Councillor Micah. We are so appreciative of you and, you know, what you stand for. I really appreciate, you know, at the beginning when you said something about how it's a short time where you have, so people kind of don't want to put too much pressure upon you, because I could believe that they don't know where you stand for, and they must say, you know what, he needs to do X, Y, and Z. And if people would understand X, Y, and Z, take a lead time for do. So take a breath, you got this. I know your first step will be going and taking steps into your office.
Yes.
And so with all that, we wish you the best going
All the
forward.
best indeed.
Is there any final comments you want to give to the people that have supported you, your Belize City people, whatever it is?
No, I want to commend all of my colleagues and thank them for their support. Without them, I would not have been elected as the deputy mayor. I also want to thank Councillor Kaya Katus. She is a formidable councillor. She is hardworking. She is committed. She's somebody that I've always admired and always respected. And so I want to encourage her to stay committed and know that the future is bright for her. I've heard the discussion about women not being as successful as they should have been for Women's Month, but there are so many women in our city and in our country that are doing great things. There are so many unsung heroes, and so I don't want to leave here today with young girls feeling that politics is the only way for them to make a difference in their country. There are so many other arenas, so many other areas that they can really help our country to move forward. So that is really my message.
Thank you so much for that. And very true. There's not only politics, there's so much ways you can be a community change agent. So women, make sure you know that you're outstanding and stand out and make your voices heard. And on that same note, when we are back, we're going to be talking to Lieutenant Commander Alma Pinello on her recent award from the U.S. Embassy for Outstanding Woman of the Year. So keeping the positivity, keeping the upliftment and highlights of amazing women in our community. We'll be having that conversation for you on that award and what it is for her career and why she deserved that award. So stay tuned for that exciting conversation. We'll be right back.